Good afternoon. No, actually, good morning. It's Lindsay. It's August 23rd, 2023, and it's very early in the morning. Well, pretty early in the morning. It's not that early actually. It's like 6:19 a.m. Early for me to be making a video though, because normally I make videos in the afternoons or evenings. But today is different because I want to talk about today more things that narcissistic people do to try to entrap you, to set you up, to insult you, to degrade you, humiliate you, and discard you as whenever, or when you're going through this whole narcissistic process with people who are being dishonest with you in your life. Okay, and I've talked about this before. What's happening in my situation, or what has happened to me here, and so I'm very blatantly honest about my experiences, because I feel that by my transparency as far as talking about these experiences is what gets me heavily stalked and harassed, or more, stalked more so than normal, because I really talk about it how it is, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it or candy coat it, but I'm being very blatantly honest about it. And so this is what these people they see that as a vulnerability, because this kind of stuff is hard to explain unless you're familiar with all the vernacular and terminology of gang stalking, organized stalking, vigilante stalking, targeted individuals. And as I've talked about before, there's always a motive behind it, right? And it's usually a financial motive as to why these people target certain people. And it can go, the reasons can extend for many years back, going to when maybe, like generational things, but it usually, like I said, it has to do with money or inheritances or trust funds or assets, and squabbles in the family, as far as people wanting to wrongfully take advantage of others who they feel didn't deserve something, and this is common with a lot of people. But the thing is that most people don't want to talk about it unless it's like private with somebody, like maybe with a therapist or a trusted friend, or maybe even an attorney or an advocate of some kind, you know what I mean? A counselor, a coach. Well, in my situation, you're probably wondering, what the fuck are you doing, like talking about these kinds of things on a video on YouTube so that anybody and everybody can see it? Well, I'll tell you why I do that is because, number one, I've been doing videos now on YouTube for a good 4 years at least. Should have started doing them a lot earlier now that I think about it, because it's such a good platform to talk about things. But, I could have been doing this years and years ago, but I didn't. I never wanted to. I was like, I don't think so. But now I'm glad that I have been making videos throughout the years about what's happening to me, so that I can eventually maybe turn it into my own autobiography, since I've already had fucking character assassination and identity theft, basically. But I will at one point, my goal is I have to make sure that I have some kind of intellectual property license or something, so that they don't steal my identity and my story, because my goal, and I'm talking about this openly, is to write a book about it. And once I'm settled out of this toxic environment, and hopefully in another place, maybe another city, another country, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about where I'm going to go. It's none of anybody's business right now. But my goal is to really like focus on my writing a book or something about this, because the things that have happened to me are not just your run-of-the-mill everyday things that happen to other people. And so I know that. And so I know that, like, there's other people who, we all have our experiences in life. Everybody has something that's happened to them that's unique. of which they feel that they can contribute to the world, or whatever, maybe write a book, a screenplay, I don't know, different things. But for me, yeah, I mean, you can make money with these kinds of things, and why not? For me, I'm struggling financially. I've been struggling financially. I have talents in certain areas of which have been exploited over the years, especially my artistic talents, my everything that I have done. And this is why I'm not trying to gripe, but I'm talking the truth. This is what happens, is it with me, for whatever reason, I'm not allowed to enjoy my hard work, okay, for years. Like, if you're a disciplined person who sticks with a regimen of things because you have goals of which you yourself want to accomplish, right? And these might be some personal goals or whatever, But the minute you you start talking about this shit. Sorry, this is like, it serves as a good makeup mirror, I guess. When you start talking about this kind of thing to people, they discredit you, and they immediately start. I don't know what the fuck am I doing. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this. I do this. I'm used to putting on makeup at this hour in the morning, or my routine, so it's like weird for me because my routine has changed today. So I'm sorry, forgive me. Okay, yeah. So like, anyway, back to what I'm saying. So yeah, so like, everybody, I know that I have had certain talents of my own, natural abilities and talents that were exploited and basically like taken away, like it's like identity, character assassination, identity theft to an extent, where that you're doing something, and the next thing you know, somebody is doing the same fucking thing you are. They're copying you. They're mimicking you. And they're taking credit for what you already did a long time ago. It's like all of a sudden they seem to think that they are you. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, in retrospect, yeah, I remember signing things. I've signed things in the past where I wasn't exactly given copies of those documents, and, there's no telling what exactly manifested from some of those things, except yes, clearly I can 100% assure anybody who wants to discredit me that yes, I was exploited in ways that other people have not experienced. Maybe some people have in the entertainment industry, understand what I'm talking about, who are involved with that kind of thing or whatever, because mine is directly involved. Let's see if I can change the lighting here a little bit. That light's right in my face. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's too bright. It's hard to adjust the lighting. I don't have professional, anything in this setup. But it's aggravating when it's like right there shining in my face. Like that. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah. So I know that with my having had done that in the past, when I was younger, in my 20s, more daring, more vulnerable, I guess you could say more naive to how evil and vindictive people are. Fuck. Yeah, I know of course they tease me about my fucking hair all the time. That's the big thing with these people, is fucking teasing you about your appearance. That's the big deal with these motherfuckers. They expect you to always look. It's like, yeah, we get self-conscious about that kind of shit, but whatever. Sorry, just keep fucking with my hair. What little I have left, after considering most of it's fallen out from all the fucking stress that I've been through. Literally, I have lost my... Yeah, you'll notice it as a targeted, to change the subject. You'll notice it when you're being fucking gang stalked and targeted and exploited and insulted and set up for failure to, every fucking day for so fucking long. Eventually, it kind of takes a toll on your appearance, right? Your hair starts to fucking fall out, and with me, I have been somebody who plays around with hair pieces and wigs for a long time, and so they fucking use that and mock the shit out of me about that here in San Antonio. especially so I've been through all this shit, and right now I don't fucking care what you fucking people think. But this is reality, and I'm just talking about it because I'm not fucking hiding anything about who I am or whatever. I'm just telling you the facts about what a target individual goes through. And with me, I know why. I'm smart enough to figure out more or less why this has happened to me and who's behind it and what the motivations are. And after so many years, it's like, yeah, you kind of can figure this shit. You can't kind of figure it. You can, because I'm not stupid. I have a lot of intelligence, and therefore, I've never been given credit for what I've actually accomplished. No. For whatever reason, okay, all the fucking things that I've accomplished throughout my life, and I'm 49 years old. Not once have I ever received the actual credit for what I've done. Certain paintings that I did, that my mother, and in my case, it's my own family, my own so-called blood family. If they're even really my blood family, which I still am a little bit dubious as to really think that they are, some people, because why the fuck would they treat me that way? Scapegoat me to that extent and make me fail and try to make me fail in life. Why? Ask yourself, if you don't get along with your family so well, especially your mother, or in my case, it's my mother and my brother, who I just don't fucking get along. I just don't. Whatever. My mother wants to always compete with me. She sees me as a threat. She sees me as somebody who she can be better than. And so it's like a constant competition. It's like she has to prove that she's better than me by competing with me. And I'll give you some examples. Excuse me for being all over the place with this video, but my mind is like right now a little bit overwhelmed because I don't mean to jump from one topic to the next or whatever, but this is just how I'm trying to explain it in layman's terms so that people can kind of understand the basics of what a targeted person experiences throughout their lives, not just, on a daily basis, but throughout. So I'm giving you some more history. My mother is a toxic, for me, she's extremely competitive. She's very narcissistic. She never would give me compliments growing up. If she did, it was very much backhanded or very, not really genuine. It never seemed that way. And I would always think, why? And I would try really hard to impress my mother. I was very interested in trying to impress her for whatever reason, because I felt like, look at this woman. She has all this money, or she has not, she seemed to have like really nice things, nice car, really nice house, nice furniture filled with all these like wonderful, great furniture and antiques and art and paintings and nice clothes and jewelry. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, as a kid, I'm like, why? And I was always real kind of shy and modest, but I was expressive. I knew how to express myself well, and I was creative, but I was never flamboyant, ever. I was real modest about my anything. Like, even if I accomplished something or somebody gave me a compliment, I didn't even know how to accept it. I was like, I would kind of duck my head down and just say thank you or look the other way, because I felt, and this is a problem I have to this day, is I can't accept compliments. I get nervous. I feel like they're trying to get something from me or take advantage. If anybody gives me a compliment, I'm like, well, where's that coming from, and why are you doing that, and what are your motivations, or what do you want from me? Is my main. I start thinking, why are you being nice to me? Immediately I'm like, well, what do you want from me? If you're being nice to me, then it's because you want something from me. And that's the mentality that I had to have throughout, especially after certain things happened to me. Because when people from nowhere, just out of the blue, start talking to you at the store or out in public at the park, it's like you get bombarded in all directions with people complimenting you. And it's like, well, all this praise and admiration, yet at the same time, they're criticizing you and doing shit that's mean. So you're like, why? And this would happen throughout my entire life as a kid, starting as a child, on up until my years as a young adult. Okay, it was always like this. I was always getting real praised and put on a pedestal and admired and kind of set as an example. yet at the same time pushed down and then mocked and ridiculed for failing. Like if I ever failed or did anything wrong, they're not going to tell you exactly what you did wrong, but they're going to let you know by subtle insults and humiliation. And this is what they have been doing to me. And I say they because I don't know exactly who the fucking main ringleader is of this kind of shit, but this is what I have been experiencing throughout my life. And I'm always asking myself, why? What do I have to do? I'm from a generation of the 70s, okay? I did not fucking grow up with a cell phone. I did not grow up on the fucking computer. I grew up in a generation of people of which are like mine. I mean, if you're born in the 70s or whatever, what I'm talking about. We had a different kind of upbringing from these Generation X people, kids nowadays everything is on their fucking phone. Nowadays everybody does stuff on their phone. Everybody is impersonal. Nobody, dating apps, dating websites. You can easily find a love interest from around the world. You know what I mean? We have such easy access due to the technology now that people don't really have to put much effort into building a real foundation for anything. Okay, it's like it's just too easy access at the tip of your fingers. You can meet somebody in halfway around the world on a dating app, and you're gonna start building a quote-unquote relationship with somebody who you've never met face-to-face. Oh yeah, you're going to do a few video chats or whatever and all that, but does that really mean that have you spent quality time face-to-face interacting with that person, like actually eye contact? No, most people have not, but they think that, oh wow, this is so flattering. I've got this really attractive man from Morocco or from wherever, Italy or France or Spain or Mexico, whatever, throwing himself at me on the dating site. And you're thinking, wow, But you see, let this just be a lesson to people who are on dating apps, because I myself have been on one and whatever, to experiment and see what's out there. But I don't ever take it for granted. I take it with a grain of salt, okay? Because obviously, it can be fun to meet new people and have an interaction and see if you got a little connection. But let me tell you about these things from my own experience. You can easily have what you might want to call a connection or attraction to people who you've never met by simply interacting with them via a few text messages or emails or whatever, video chat. But really, think about how many other people they're doing the same thing with. Okay, think about, you're not the only one. And we know this, that if you're on a dating app, I don't care if it's Plenty of Fish, I don't care if it's Match.com, Zoosk, Badoo, any of them, whatever, okay, they're all the same thing. The men are mostly seeking a sexual encounter, and they start getting very vulgar and rude with their sexual advances, to the point that sometimes they will send you inexplicit photos of themselves without obviously you asking. This might happen to you as a female. They're going to start bombarding you with all these pornographic photos or videos even sometimes, and it's like, wow, they throw themselves at you. And it's also mostly to see how you react, and you have to wonder, are some of these men agents, provocateurs to get you entrapped? Think about it, or they'll start talking about, hey, do you smoke? Do you want to go get high? Shit like that. And if you have any common sense, you're not going to fall for the trap. You're not going to bite the bait, because you know that they might be trying to entrap you and get you in trouble, legally speaking, with the police or whatever, by getting you to do drugs. You should never do that on a date, meeting some man who's attractive, trying to lure you into hooking up with him at some motel or whatever, and he wants to get high on drugs, okay? Avoid that shit, because there's a lot of that out there, and they've tried it with me many a time, and I'm like, I have a lot of experience with chatting with men on dating apps. Because, it's okay to look and to desire a relationship with somebody, because nowadays it is not easy to meet somebody. I mean, even though, You may be surrounded by people out in public, like at a gym or at your workplace or whatever. You might see people, and but it's not nobody. No, nowadays, people, you don't see many people approaching anybody. It's like most people are way too consumed with themselves and narcissism. You see, it's societal narcissism. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody's too self-involved. And I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people. You see some people who, it's just not easy to meet quality people anymore. Even if you could have a toxic workplace romance that goes on for a while, an affair with somebody who might be married with kids, a lot younger than you or older than you. But guess what? Any relationship that starts out with infidelity is going to end badly. It's never going to go well for either of the two involved. That's just karma coming back to get you whenever you try to get involved with somebody who is married with a family, who's whatever, or even if they're separated. You need to be really careful. Or I tend to be very careful with those kinds of things because it's always a big red flag. I don't like to get involved with men who are separated. You better be fucking divorced. You better be single. And you better not be trying to string me along on a fake fucking relationship, because I don't have time for that shit. And I can see it straight through it, I can see through the facade quite easily. But at times I will find myself enthralled with the outcome of what may happen, the potentiality of what could manifest. But usually it's too good. If something seems too good to be true, well, it's usually because it is. It's usually because it is too good to be true. Everything takes work, everything. And if you don't have proper communication with somebody or trust and lay your boundaries down and tell them what is appropriate and what's not, then it's kind of like you're wasting your time, because it's almost like you have to train certain people. You have to train them. Like they don't register. It's like you could tell them over and over again, don't do that. Stop treating me like that. I'm not a doormat. I'm not your slave. I demand respect. And you have to the point that it's like they need that. They need that kind of training. And then they call you a bitch, or that you're mean, or you're this. But no, you're just trying to be very direct with them and lay the boundaries down, because otherwise sometimes you'll find that these men, with myself, I've had this in the past, where they will take advantage of your weaknesses or your insecurities. It's all about, okay, yes, here's a big thing about this. It's about their inflated egos, and we all have insecurities. It's human nature. But a lot of the times these people with these overly inflated egos, they love to hone in on your main insecurities. Especially, if you're a female who's older, more experienced, you're not 25, fertile anymore or whatever. Okay, you're older. You're an older woman and you've got some experience. Woo! Guess what? They love to play this game with you. They're gonna, oh, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're so attractive. I love your eyes. I love your lips. They'll fucking bombard you with all this flattery bullshit talk, right? Yeah, take it with a fucking grain of salt, because they're gonna be saying, and I'm talking about here on dating sites mostly, they're telling the same thing to God knows how many other women. Okay? Yeah, they are. It's not just you. Don't ever think that you're the only one that they're doing this to, if this person's on a dating site. And especially if you met this man on a dating site and you find out that you've been with that person now for over a year, and you've been doing some intimate things with that person. They've been into your home. They know you quite well, very well, as a matter of fact, or they know things about you that other people don't, and you've told them so much information, yet they're still quite secretive about who they are. There's things that they don't reveal to you about themselves. Yeah, and you're asking yourself, well, why? Who are you? And why are you in my life? And why do you want to invest in me? Or what is it about me? Because you seem to put me down so much and try to compare me to other women, but at the same time you want me a part of your life, but you fucking hate me, or we don't like each other. We have so many Why is that? Why do they do that? Why? Well, because I'll tell you why, because a lot of times they're trying to exploit you, or they want to exploit you, okay? They want to fucking exploit you. And I don't know, but this is just the way this shit happens. It's like they want to fucking take advantage of you. They want to make sure that you feel stupid, insecure, and hone in on all your insecurities. And then meanwhile, they've got their other supply lined up at the door waiting. Okay, they've got someone else grooming, someone else behind your back, or maybe right in front of your fucking face. Okay, most of the time, these individuals, these narcissistic men, I'm talking about mostly, have somebody else that they have been grooming, literally right in front of your fucking face. Without, do you see it? Or are you gonna pay attention to the signs, to the red flags? Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a good example of what I'm talking about, okay? I've been in, and here I go talking about this shit because it's just reality. I was involved with a man who's very narcissistic here in the town, in the city that I live in, okay? And I've talked about this. I'm not going to tell his name, but maybe I will at some point. But this person, I feel, he's a handler. It's what you call a handler. When they come into your life and that it's like, it's like there's something that's off about the whole situation, yet you kind of like, you don't know exactly what, but that there's like something fucked up about it. And you're like, well, what does this person want with me? And why are they so nice to me? And why are they so interested? They act so interested in my life and my finances and this and that, and how's your day, and what they act real interested in you, but at the same time they are constantly criticizing you and making you feel like shit about yourself and finding out all your little weaknesses to pinpoint your insecurities. But why are they doing that? You're like, what? Why? Okay, if there's so many women out there, if there's so many women, beautiful women, or whatever, attractive women with financial success, or maybe they are what the fuck are they doing with you? Okay, well, why you? You're like, why me? Why me? And what do we have what do we actually have in common? You're wondering these things because they fucking fuck with your head. They mind fuckery. It's like, well, okay, I could be fucking walking on breadcrumbs, or they breadcrumb you, is what I mean. They fucking throw out little breadcrumbs, and you're supposed to, yeah, okay, I'm going to take the bait today because, look, this person is texting me and hey, baby, or, oh, I want to see you, I miss you. And this goes on and on and on, and you're like, there's these patterns that you pick up on, and they initiate it usually, but they want to see how you react. But that like a lot of the times these people who do this, and of course with me, I'm talking about men because I'm a heterosexual woman who likes, I like men. I am attracted to men sexually. I'm not into women, but if you are, okay, to each his own. But so these men usually who are very narcissistic, very egocentric, very much about status and image and whatnot. You're wondering, what the fuck? Because, okay, really, when you think about it, okay, in my opinion about men, is that most men, like alpha males and these kinds of males are not, I think they're called alpha males, the ones that are really masculine and kind of, those are, I believe that's what they call alpha male. Why is it that alpha males are also, they act extreme, or they try to come off as being real alpha male-ish, but you see that they're like real beta male, or they have a lot of feminine metrosexual type tendencies or characteristics about them, but you're like convinced in a way that they're gay. It's like, well, God, this person this man, is he gay? Is he bisexual, or is he a fucking closet gay? What? They're real into fashion and clothes or makeup and hair. It's like, well, okay, yeah, in my experience, most men who are really into that kind of thing are usually either on the down low. They usually have a wife or girlfriend who's a quote-unquote beard, they call it. She's a beard because she's just a cover for them because they need to be portrayed as being straight when they're actually gay. So she's a beard if they're married to her. She's a cover. But that on the side, this man's on the fucking down low. He's doing whatever they do with other men. And they're gonna, unfortunately, there's a lot of men like that out there who and of course are gonna, for whatever reason, because of their own insecurities and shame. What the fuck? How many, is this recording? I hope it's recording. Yeah, they're gonna try to hide, they want to hide that from you. They want to make sure that you don't figure it out, but that there's something off. And it could very well be that they are into men. They're gay. They're closet gay. And hey, I personally, let me just tell you about, and I am not a homophobic person by any means at all, because I see that people who are homophobic, in my opinion, the reason they're that way is because probably the reason they're that way is because they are themselves gay, or they are bisexual. Because otherwise, why would they care so much about what somebody else is doing, right? But what I have a problem with is, this serves as a really good makeup mirror. Wow, I should have, no wonder. It's like you can really, this is kind of cool. Good way to put it. Sorry, but I'm kind of getting fascinated with my makeup right now because I have all my makeup right here. This is like my little studio, makeshift studio, where I do everything. This table. Back to what I'm saying. So they let's try and put some mascara on. They love bomb you and all that crap, or they it's fake, okay? Whenever these kinds of individuals that you kind of suspect are on the down low, or there's something up with the relationship that you're involved with them, it's because, they're probably on the down low. They're with men and women, or they're closet faggots, or bisexual and shit. But they don't want you to know that. That's a secret, and they don't want to reveal that to you, but they're going to give you subtle clues as to that's who they really are, right? And it's like, you don't really know what to make of it, because it's like, you get kind of trauma bonded, or they kind of try to trauma bond you and form a connection with you, because this is what they do to people. This is what they do to entrap and ensnare people. And whenever you're a person who that you're like, straight, not into that kind of shit, kinky, polyamorous, bisexual shit or whatever, it's upsetting. It's humiliating. You find it to be insulting, because you're being fucking lied to and played and teased and mocked and fucking exploited. That's what's going on, is they're kind of trying to fuck with your head and mock you and turn you, and maybe they're trying to groom you or try to make you into something who you're not, or someone who you're not. It could be that. But here's an example of what I'm kind of talking about. Like, so this person who I have been in this kind of transaction type situation now for a year now, at least, he seems to be, like, it's really hard to say. It's like he wears he wears a mask. He's like I don't want to say, it's weird, because that these people, they are one way around you, and they're some completely different around other people, and you don't really know, because you've never really been out with them much in public, maybe a few times, but you don't really know, you've never really seen them interact with other individuals that much in front of you, except maybe a few times like at a restaurant or something, or something very, or at a convenience store where the two of you don't really know because you haven't really watched much interaction, because this person kind of keeps you under the in the dark, or they keep you sort of a secret or something like that. They don't take you out, you don't go out with them much, and you're like, why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. The reason they do that is because they've got other women, they've got multiple sources of supply, and they have to keep the image. It's about image, right? It's about status and image for these individuals, and they don't want, whatever, they have to kind of keep you secret, or they have to keep all, because they've got so many of them at once that they know that, like, oh shit, what if that person runs into me in public and they see me with, what I mean? This is what they do, because they want to keep a harem garage filled, and here we go tying narcissistic abuse with all this shit. They have to keep their harem garage open at all times, or so that they can, go back and love bomb and, go back to old sources of supply and try to rekindle that flame, and then the shit hits a fan and they try to go find somebody new, and then, they start, oh, I guess I should have stayed with the other person. I regret that this, you know what I mean? They discard you, they devalue, discard, revalue, re-idolize you and all that shit, or put you back on the fucking pedestal and then push you down and all that crap, because it's a power trip. They do this because they want to feel like they have authority over you and everything you do. They want to be in control. With narcissistic individuals who have sociopathic tendencies, and if they're sex addicts and alcoholics or comorbidity, maybe drug addicts, maybe cokeheads, whatever, drug addicts, but they're going to lie to you about that, you might find out that the person you're involved with is a hardcore coke addict, or they're doing something, and you know that they're on some kind of fucking drug, right? But of course, that's a secret to them. They're not going to tell you that. Why the fuck are they going to tell you that? But you can tell from their behavior that something's changed, that they're like, something that they're doing, that it's obvious that they're doing something that's something like that, because you can tell. You've been around them enough to know that there's a change in their behavior, that they don't want you to, they're not going to reveal to you what it is that they're doing, right? But you pick up on the clues and the subtleties of their behavior and their things that they do. But so here's back to what happened. This person was coming over here a lot, and I kept noticing, like, on certain times that he would visit me in the evening when he got off of work from a certain place here in San Antonio. He would, he'd be dressed up in a suit, looking suave and dressed up in a nice outfit, attire, smelling good, because they love to use scents and odors and perfumes and colognes so that you're left having to remember how they smell. And they do all this shit on purpose to get you bonded, to try to get you connected to them. Is they want to use odor and smell and to try to make you form a memory, an everlasting memory of what you want with them or what you had with them, and so that you might miss them when they're gone, or when you don't see them. And then this is a shit that narcissistic people do to entrap their victims or people. And this is this is all common tactics that they all do, men, when they're trying to ensnare a woman. Okay, it's all very common, and you're gonna find that you're not the only one they're doing this to. They're going to tell you that, no, you're the only one they've been with, and you're the only one that does. No. Lies, and more lies. That's not true. Because you'll see patterns. Like with this person, I would notice that every time, just about in the past year, I've noticed that every time this individual would visit me here at my home, on certain days that he was supposedly coming from work, which I believe he was arriving from his job. I think he works where he says he does. Pretty sure, but who fucking knows? He's probably doing that, but he's actually contracted there, working for someone else, is what I suspect. You know what I mean? So he would show up. Sometimes he'd show up here, and I would notice it next door, the house next door, where I've talked about stuff that has gone on there, and I'm not trying to snitch. But we all know, I know what goes on there, and whatever. In the past, I had to call the police several times for noise violations in the middle of the night, them playing really loud music and making a lot of ruckus, and I couldn't sleep, so I'd call the fucking police, and they'd make a big to fucking do about it and exaggerate things. But I had no choice, because, I'd hear gunshots. I felt my life was in danger. My safety was in danger, and so I kind of felt like it was in my best interest to get the fucking authority involved for my own safety in case something were to happen to me. But this, of course, whenever and I wasn't snitching. I mean, well, yeah, in a way I was, because whatever you can call it that. But nowadays I don't look, whatever the fuck people do, I don't fucking care. I don't care what people do. It's none of my fucking business if that's what they're doing, if that's what anybody's doing. I don't care. But I'm saying if my life's in danger, that's when I draw the line, because I'm not involved with that kind of stuff, and I'm not, but if that's how people have to make money for whatever reasons, and that's what they do, then fuck it, do it. I don't care. Because I know for a fact that law enforcement and all this shit government, that's what they do. They all are involved with drug smuggling and human trafficking and prostitution and shit like that. That's very common now, especially for people in law enforcement and private security and sheriffs, all that shit. They're up to their ears and doing that kind of thing. It's a well-known fact. So, but I would notice that he would come over here in his vehicle, let's just say Fusion of kinds. Does that ring a bell? Fusion Center? Fusion? Is there a connection there? So he'd come over here, and then there would be a red pickup truck that would always fucking show up at the same time he would get here, or right before he would get here, or whatever. And it was always the same thing. Just about every time he would show up in the business suit, in his dress to the nines, in his suit, this fucking red truck would show up with this girl who's like spying on him, and they're looking at it's like, and then he would leave here, and she'd be out in the truck sitting there with a fucking flashlight so that he would notice her, and he's just like staring at her like enthralled, or just making, it's obvious that there's some kind of communication going on between those two. Something's going on, and this is a pattern that I noticed at least 6 or 7 times. This fucking red truck, this girl, and him. And I'm like, what's that about? And it was only the times that he would be at my house when he'd be wearing that suit, coming from the department store here, the fancy department store. So, okay, I see these things, and it's obvious that he's always really interested in what's going on next door at this house, okay, always really wanting to, almost interrogating me and making me confess about shit that it's like, well, I don't know. I go out there on the porch. It's like they're always trying to fucking force you to react to shit that they're doing. They force you to react to fucking street theater as a target individual. Like all this crap that they fucking do, they're forcing you to have to react or interact with them to an extent. And it used to be really bad. They would do all kinds of fucking shit that it was like impossible to ignore the shit that they were doing there. Okay, it was really over the top shit. Like, it's so like, how the fuck can anybody live next door to that? Really bad stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do? What are they doing to me? Why are they targeting me like this? Why? Or what's going on here? So anyway, it's like this man, it's obvious that this person I was coming here to see me, is it entrapment? Because I would ask him over and over again, and if they're lying to you, but when you ask a person a question directly, for example, like, so are you with the FBI? Are you the DEA? Are you some kind of law enforcement, undercover, something? And if they flat out lie to you and say no, and then they get mad, Okay, if they lie to you, but you kind of feel that there's something, then that's entrapment. If you're asking a question like that and they're lying to you, knowing that they do that, then that's called entrapment, and that is illegal because what they're trying to do is entrap you. And if they're fucking lying to you about it, that's entrapment. And I know that for a fact what that is, because you can't help but wonder there's something that they're not telling you. Either they're some kind of a snitch because something that they did a long time ago, that they are forced to have to work as a snitch for the, oh, it's so fucking hot, I'm sorry, for the police. There's something that you know that's odd, that just doesn't make a lot of sense, you know? So it's like, of course you're going to keep on asking these rhetorical or questions to yourself, like, who the fuck is this person? Or what do they really want from me? What is their motive? What are they trying, you know what I mean? Because I have had some really, really weird experiences here with individuals who are locals of the city of San Antonio who have flat out confessed me, high as fucking can be on meth or whatever, coming into my house, invading my boundaries and territories, screaming at me, threatening me to the violence. And it's like, what the fuck? And then you call them out for that and you defend yourself, and then they start giving you death threats. Excuse me, that happened to me. And I have evidence on my phone, my other phone, of the text messages that this person was sending me to scare me and telling me that he was going to have his people kill me. Because he's involved with, you know, whatever. So it's like, well, okay, why, what I want to know is who put me in this program of having to go through this, and why me? Why, if I'm not somebody who's been, it's like, what are they saying about me, or what has been said about me to make me have to be punished by society every day? Like, I'm like, this is fucking horrible shit. I'm telling you, it's like, you can't imagine what I go through every day. The mockery, the humiliation, the people laughing at me, giving me the cold shoulder, and giving me dirty looks at the gym and shit like that, at fucking Gold's Gym, where they're all involved. It's like a fucking big AA meeting, or trying, you know, all this fucking mobbing and triangulation shit that they do to me there to exploit me and humiliate me. It's like, I didn't do anything. It's like going to a big fucking rehab is what it feels like. I go there, and I go there every day, pretty much, at the same one or whatever, and the same shit. It's like they start fucking with me, scapegoating me, and putting me under the microscope when it's humiliating, it's insulting, it's degrading, and this is a form of abuse, harassment, and exploitation, and this is what part of what they do to fucking target people. And so at my stage in my life, I have been so insulted and degraded and humiliated by people for so long that I don't even want to be here in this city at all. I don't. I would love to be able to go somewhere else and start a different life while I'm still alive, while I'm still fucking able to function, before it gets to the point that I'm dead or that I die from health reasons or from the stress. And I swear to God, like, I'm not I have become so fucking weakened. I mean, physically, it's like you are so goddamn, it's horrible. It's like the abuse, the amount of fucking physiological abuse and psychological abuse that these motherfuckers, narcissistic psychopaths, inflict on their victims is so bad that you feel like you're dying. Like, you feel like you can't breathe. You feel like you're having panic attacks. And it just gets, it's like you don't know when you're asking yourself, is this going to ever fucking end? And why is nobody believing me? Why do you have no support? You've been betrayed by everybody. Betrayal, stalking, harassment, smear campaign. This is real. And it's like, shit, you know, what the fuck? And I'm not making this stuff up at all. I'm not. I'm telling you directly what I have gone through and what I have to go through, and it's scary. It's scary because sometimes I think, well, I don't even feel safe in this house going to bed at night anymore, and I don't want to be here. I feel it's toxic. I don't like the environment anymore for the most part. I'm tired of it. I want to live a different life. I want to be in a different place, but I can't. They make it impossible for you to move on because they want to keep you imprisoned and trapped with money that's your own money that they want to fucking keep you from. In my situation, so I have to remain a prisoner, basically, to my own circumstances, of which I've been trying to defend myself from people harassing me and stalking me. So you become a prisoner of your own circumstances, of which you are trying to feel like you constantly have to prove yourself. Like I don't need to fucking what I do, if I do things for, I do it for myself as well to improve myself, but I don't need to fucking prove myself to anybody because I'm very open about who I am. I have nothing to hide about that. You either like me or you don't, and quite frankly, if you don't like me, then good. I don't fucking give a shit. I can move on. I'm strong enough to do that. I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that most men don't understand me, or women, and I don't have any women friends hardly. They fucking hate. I can't relate. They've got kids. They're married. They have this kind of cookie cutter lifestyle shit. I can't relate to that crap. I don't. I'm sorry, but I'm my own individual, and I don't run around with the girls and go to little tea parties and If I have any female friends, they're few and far between, and we talk here and there every once in a blue moon, and that's about it. But they at least maybe understand me and respect me to an extent, because maybe we have certain similarities where we can relate on that level, but it's kind of, at the same time, it's a little bit superficial with a lot of these kinds of friendships. But hey, as long as I've got a couple acquaintances, I'm all right. But because I'm a loner and reclusive, and I'm used to that. But there's a lot of societal abuse and punishment for people who are different. I'm an artistic person. I've always been different, and I get punished for just being myself. It's like, well, I know that I'm in the wrong fucking city for that. I'm in the wrong environment for that. Nobody wants to flourish or enhance my creativity and help me. They just want to drag me down and critique me. They don't care about what I have done, what I have already accomplished. It's about what I haven't. It's never good enough. All the fucking paintings that I've done, all the portraits. I did a fucking portrait years ago of Abraham Lincoln that was really good, that I spent months on during the Hurricane Katrina or fucking Hurricane Rita in Houston. When I was living on Driscoll, and I had been working at Rice University after I had just quit my job or got fired from that job at Rice University, and I was still in an on and off relationship with this Colombian guy, Herman, a Colombian dude that we were actually engaged at one point. But anyway, at that stage in my life, this was around 2001 or 2 or 3, something like that, whatever. It was post 9/11 and all that shit. I had just moved back from LA. I had already lived in Los Angeles, but I did this portrait of Abraham Lincoln, right? And it ended up being, I saw the photo on a Time magazine cover, and I bought the magazine because I've always, it's not like I'm a big fan of Abraham Lincoln necessarily, but I would say I would consider myself to be somewhat of a abolishment of I don't believe in slavery. I'm very much a human rights abolitionist, I guess you could call it. Yeah, okay. Fuck the government. I'm an anarchist. I believe in freedom. I don't believe in slavery. I hate that shit. Fucking horrible. The worst thing in my mind is any form of slavery to any human being. So I'm very much an advocate of human rights, and never in a million years would I adhere to slavery of any form. Okay, even though in my lineage I believe that unfortunately, and it's whatever. But I can't control who I am. But I believe that I know that in my own lineage on the Baldwin side, and maybe even on the side of my mom, Griffith or McGuire or whatever, their side, there was slavery. They were plantation owners, and I'm not boasting about that. I'm just saying that a lot of my stalking and generational abuses have to do with generational curses or abuses, and it's a fact. And they were Southern. They were settlers. They settled in Virginia. My family and my roots. They were settlers from Europe evading the European, came over here. And a lot of them were in the Civil War. A lot of them were people of status and plantation owners and this, that, and the other. But I'm just saying that I can't help that that's in my lineage. I can't not change my DNA. I can't do that. It's not possible. So I don't need to feel like I should be abused by society for their own ignorance about the fucking Civil War, by the way, because both sides of the Civil War, the North and the South, were funded by the Rockefellers. And who are they? Why don't you look up that and do some research about that? So both sides of the Civil War in the United States were funded by the Rockefeller family, who were bankers and who, so don't get mad at me for saying it like it fucking is. Don't get mad at me for the fact that I have family who were in the Civil War, prominent figures in the military and Civil War on my dad's side. Like, I don't think that I need to take the fucking abuse from people because this has been going on my entire fucking life. As a child, I knew who my grandfather was. I knew that I believe they're involved with Masonic stuff, Freemasons and shit. I can't help that. That's beyond my control, who I'm related to. So for people to punish you simply by who you might be related to, blood speaking, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? I can't fucking change my blood type or DNA. So I don't feel that I deserve to be punished at every fucking job I have at the fucking gym by people who fucking hate me for no reason without even knowing me. Because of shit that my ancestors did. Thinking that I'm some little white bitch, a racist, that I am not. If you get to know me, you'll find that that's not at all who the fuck I am. Okay? So enough of this fucking shit that she's a little racist white bitch who thinks that she's better than everybody. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's your own fucking ignorance, by the way. I get enough of that crap every day by people of all the fucking time. Okay? But back to this thing. I painted years ago this thing of Abraham Lincoln. This portrait. It was damn fucking good, by the way. I did it all by hand. I spent a lot of time, very detailed portrait in my own kind of abstract way of Abraham Lincoln. Oil painting. I gave that thing to my mother at some point, or she actually bought it for me, because my mother collects art. She likes art, and she actually did like some of my art. She still does, I think. So she does give me some credibility for that. My mom and they know that I'm good at art. They know, my family knows that, and they have given me, they know that about me, but they know that I've got a lot of other qualities, I suppose. But she bought that at one point, and she really liked it, and I remember, and I was like, wow, she actually liked something that I did, and I felt happy that my own mother, who seems to want to compete with me and drag me down, who's a psychotherapist, likes my fucking art. Lindsay, wow, your mother is going to approve of you, I felt. I made an accomplishment. Kenny Griffith Baldwin likes my art. Mrs. I Know Everybody connected with all these artists. Mrs. Connected. My aunt and mother have so many fucking connections to the art field and all this shit, but they never really seem to want to fucking help me much. But they've got all these connections to artists and crap like that, but for whatever reason on my mom's side, I was never good enough, right? Never. And that's how I felt, at least. And I tried so fucking hard to be accepted by my mother and her side of the family. But no, it was like constant resentment I felt. And I was like, shit, okay, god damn, they fucking hate me. I get it, I see it, but okay. Not so much now that my aunt's like almost 80 years old and my mother's pushing 80. They're a little bit more, kind of, but I'll never be good enough for these people. They've let me know that, they have all the, they've got all the fucking fancy, they have, I'm sorry, but they've lived lives of fucking luxury compared to me. Luxury. I haven't had any of that shit. Nothing like that compared to what they have had. Nothing. Not a fucking thing like that. Nothing. I wish, but not me. No. I was a black sheep scapegoat. And they've let me know that that I'm a failure. No matter what the fuck I try to do, not good enough. So there's a lot of competition in that family dynamic. It's horrible. It's like you can't imagine what that is like to go through when you know that you failed or you're not good enough and you're not quite, it's like, fuck. So that's hurtful, and feel betrayal, by being betrayed by people in your own family, blood family, It's very painful. But so I did that portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and I had given it to my mother. She bought it for me a long time ago for like $300. And at one point when I was living with her at Ferndale in Houston, Texas, at her place in Ferndale, this home on Ferndale Street, next to all these art galleries and this really, all this shit. The house that I dreamt of, I was like, this is my dream home. I want to live in a house like this one day. This is like, oh my God, I was so like, I wanted to live there so bad. One of these days, I was like, I'm going to have a house like this somewhere. That's what I wanted. I wanted to have a house like that. And just that right there in that area, I was like, this is what I want one day, That was what I wanted. I was aiming for something like that in my life. I was determined to have some kind of success in the art or something, but it never happened like that. But I have the right to dream about what I envision in my future, right? We all have the capacity to do that no matter what anybody says. She even had a really cool house in Hunt, Texas. It was, oh my God, that she and Bob Sussman had this really cool place on the river in Hunt, Texas. It was really fucking modern. That kind of thing that I love, that kind of architecture where it's like real modern, kind of oh my God. I love that. I'm so fucking tired of living in old dilapidated fucking houses that are falling apart personally. It's like if I could just change my environment and get the fuck out of here. I dream about that every day, like living by the beach in a nice modern place that's overlooking the water or something like that. I have my visions and I know what I want, and it'll happen one day. I think if I keep on thinking about it like that, I'm not going to stay here I can't stay in this toxic shit for much longer. I'll fucking die. It's horribly depressing here. And they know that I don't want to be here. But, so that Abraham Lincoln painting that I got one day when I was living with her at Ferndale, I got so pissed off I fucking threw it away in a big trash bag. And she, for whatever reason, since there are surveillance cameras there, I assume, obviously, she fucking got it out of the trash can at some point without my knowing and did something with it. And now that she lives in Mexico, I have no idea what the fuck she did with that painting, or a lot of them that I gave to her or sold to her. Some of my best pieces of art, abstract and otherwise, that she has them. I have no idea where they are. But that Abraham Lincoln one, by the way, was probably the best. I don't like to do portraits that much anymore. I did one of Armistead. I did one of Walker Keith Armistead that my brother has, or he bought it for me and he really liked it. The guy, my brother, who lives out in LA. So, they knew, Carter, they know that I have an artistic quality. They were very appreciative of that, I think. They supported that aspect, but I think I never felt I was good enough. But they saw that in me. And they, so I have to say that there's things about them that, yes, they saw qualities in me, but at the same time, it's weird to explain. But, so yeah. But that painting, don't know where the fuck it is, but the other day, here's an example. I was at HEB, and I always like to go. I feel I'm a mystery shopper. Okay, I'm always looking for a bargain, and at HEB, they fuck with me a lot at HEB. For whatever reason, they target me a lot at the grocery store. Same thing at Walmart. I was at HEB and I was looking at the clearance aisle, and there was all these wine bottles on clearance with Abraham. It's called the Federalist, I noticed. I was about to buy one. I was like, that's fucking cool. There was a wine bottle or whatever. I guess it was wine. But there were so many people there. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out. I was starting to have a panic attack. Too many fucking people. And it was like, it's called the Federalist, and it had a portrait of Abraham Lincoln. I was like, that's cool. That's interesting. And I wanted to buy one, but I didn't buy it. Should have. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll go back there and see if they still have any. They're probably gone by now, but maybe they'll have one left that I can snatch and celebrate and drink a big fucking bottle of Abraham Lincoln wine and then reminisce about that portrait that I did and wonder where the fuck that is. Are they going to put it in the Smithsonian Museum? And then one day when I'm dead, I'll finally get the recognition that I deserve. I think I signed it. I think I signed my name on that portrait. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, bye.